ready to go.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to work on the break-in on a Predator motor. We've got a brand new one for the a la carte, and we want to do a proper break-in on it to make sure that the motor lasts a little while. Now we're going to be putting a lot of different motors in this go-kart before we're done, but this will be the one that we sell it with. So we want to make sure that she's properly broken in so the next owner has a good motor. Now, no matter what you say for a break-in procedure, somebody's going to disagree with it. And that's okay. I encourage you to disagree with me. The first thing I do is follow the manufacturer's recommendations of 10 minutes at idle with regular oil, and then another, X amount of time with regular oil, and then we'll go to the full synthetic we plan on using. Remember, the break-in procedure is intended to wake the bearings up and to seat the rings into the cylinder wall. And you want to make sure that the rings wear into the cylinder wall before you put synthetic oil in it. That way, you'll guarantee that you've got good compression all the way around. And the whole idea behind this is what you want to do is break it in, get the oil out. If you run synthetic, then what's going to happen is it'll still break in, but it'll take a really long time to do it. And the little pieces of metal that come off when you're breaking a motor in are going to be swimming around in the oil and visiting all the other parts of your engine. And you really don't want that. So let's put some regular oil in it and let her break in for 15 minutes. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is make sure that there's no oil from the factory in this engine. And we'll do that by pulling the drain plugs. Now you see the motor's still a little bit loose. And that's because we haven't finished mounting her yet. We're not going to finish mounting her until we do this part because I don't want to add the clutch yet. And you can see we do have a couple of drips of oil in there. Oh, where's my little oil bucket at? There's not much in there, but let's go ahead and catch. We're going to let it sit for a few minutes and drain out. And then once it's done draining all of that out, we'll go ahead and get to work. Now that our oil is just about out of the way, and we know that there may have been a few drops of oil in it, but there was very little. It may have been enough just to turn the motor over in the factory, or to lubricate the, give initial lubrication to the parts. Okay, that's good to go. Let's fill her up. And I think I mentioned it, but note that we're using plain old 1030. Scoot this over here in case we overflow a bit. I'm pretty sure that's well and on enough oil for her. Let's take a look. It looks good. We're most of the way up the line. Very nice. Let's put some gas in her and take her out front. Okay, that should do her. Let's get all the neat little plastic tags off. Let's make sure she's turned on. Okay, now she's running, and we're going to just let her sit for a few minutes. After 10 minutes, we'll come get her. Okay, that was the longest 10 minutes of my life, but she's just about ready to shut down. So let's bring her back inside and see what the oil looks like. Now we're going to do the same thing we did before. Pull the oil plug out while it's still warm. The oil will be a tiny bit thinner when it's still warm. Usually it doesn't make much difference to me one way or the other. But in this case, since it's first run, I want to get it while it's warm so it'll flow better and catch all the little metal pieces. And notice again, we put it up on the jack in the back to make sure that the oil all comes out. If you look at the oil coming out, you can see it picked up a little bit of a darkness, which is expected for the first set. And this is why you want to change your oil. Without the break-in, that's what would be running in your engine right off the bat. That big, beautiful oil you just put in will be a mess. And the nice part is this only uses just about a half a quart of oil. So you've got more than enough in 1 quart to do this, and then do one more on the break-in, and you'll still have your good oil left over. You see she poured out a lot faster than she did the first time. So let's put the cap back on and see what the oil looks like. Now, it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but I'm just seeing the tiniest little bit of silver here and there. It looks like something sort of a silver powder in the bottom. And that's exactly what we were trying to get out of the engine. That little powder that you can see swirling around in the bottom would be where the rings were breaking in. Now, from all the people I've talked to, I've gotten opinions ranging from that first oil change to 3 hours of break-in. Now, the go-kart people that I've talked to have said that give it a good solid run, give her a good workout at half throttle, at half load, and work her out for about half an hour, get a good track, get a few laps in on the track, and then once you're done with those laps, change the oil again. So we're going to follow the go-kart people's advice, and we're going to run around a little bit and get some laps in. The street I live on is an oval, and it has one entrance to it in the middle of it on the far side. And that gives me a good mile-long circle to run around with the go-kart. I ran it about 15 laps last night, just ran out of sunshine, and then ran it again about 10 more laps this morning, and then went ahead and changed the oil and put the synthetic in. Now this oil change, the oil still looked kind of dark, but it didn't have all the little sparkly effects that the first change had. So I was pretty happy with it, and I went straight to the synthetic. I know a lot of people will say that's not the right way to do it, and a lot of people will say that's the only way to do it. But that's how we do it, and we haven't had an engine fail us yet. Well, I appreciate you watching, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.